We're approaching 203,000 subscribers here on the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already and you want free Cowboys videos each and every single day, then hit that sub button. It's free, and it always will be. Let's begin by talking more about a potential Mike McCarthy return for the Dallas Cowboys. ESPN exploring this idea today, really, about McCarthy returning as the Cowboys head coach in 2025. Now, remember, this was part of ESPN's Overreaction Monday piece. They look at different ideas, different topics, going with the Overreaction Monday angle. Their verdict on this one, overreaction. They do not think Mike McCarthy will be returning. Now, they prefaced it by saying, hey, what if Mike McCarthy goes on that miracle playoff run that we're talking about? Here's what Dan Graziano mentioned, or I should say wrote on that ESPN Insider piece. Even if the Cowboys pull off that miracle, McCarthy likely will still have to make a bit of a playoff run to keep his job. The Cowboys fired Jason Garrett in 2020 because he wasn't able to get them over the hump of playoff success. McCarthy hasn't done it either. And unless something incredibly bizarre happens over the remainder of this season, the Dallas Cowboys will likely move on. For a lot of the reasons that we've spent time talking about in the past that we'll go through here in a little bit, the biggest of which is you got to prove that Mike McCarthy is now different and better than what he was last year when he wasn't good enough to get extended, because it is still an extension. He's not under contract anymore. That is a difference for Jerry Jones. I agree with ESPN's mindset, and they're writing 100%. I don't think you see Mike McCarthy return in 2025. So get your predictions in. The pinned comment, especially, of today's show. So if the ad comes on YouTube, great. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Do you think Mike McCarthy actually does return as the Cowboys head coach in the year 2025? Y for yes, N for no. Go vote at the pinned comment here, especially if the ad comes on YouTube. The big thing you have to consider here is that Mike McCarthy is on the final year of his contract. It's not just I'm going to let McCarthy come back. It's I am actively choosing to retain him. And if you do that late playoff run, that playoff push, he's probably going to be looking for a longer than just 1 year deal, by the way. And what the overall totality of this view is going to be is what has Mike McCarthy done to prove that this guy, the 3 straight 12-win seasons but not enough playoff success, what has he done to show that that's going to be different this time? That he's going to be a better head coach with better results and does enough to get them beyond where they have been, where it hasn't been good enough. This is not McCarthy's the worst head coach in the NFL history. This is not he's got to go no matter what. This is he good enough with a 5-year sample size to say, yes, we want to absolutely bring him back? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think this team is good enough. I don't think McCarthy's a good enough coach to overcome that. Pretty consistently, with a few exceptions, and it always comes through in the playoffs, this team normally beats the teams that they are more talented than and fails to be the teams that they are less talented than. That's a coaching issue. I think in the end, these fears, or maybe dreams if you want him, I think these all kind of come to a stop after a loss or maybe two. And maybe that's the Bengals game. Maybe it's the Eagles game. Maybe it's the Panthers or the Bucks game. I think you just need to be a chill guy. Relax, breathe, be a chill guy. Don't get too far out over your skis. Just let this play out. And I think the very obvious answer will eventually reveal itself. If they don't make the playoffs, I don't really see how Mike McCarthy comes back. Unless, as ESPN said, something incredibly bizarre happens, I don't see the Dallas Cowboys having really any level of interest in saying, yes, you know what? We saw enough to go. We can change things. Let's bring back Mike. This would be different if this was year 2. If this was year 3, it's year 5. I think that the front office knows what path they're likely going to head down here. Now, today's show is made possible by GameTime. It is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big event. They have a new feature, by the way. It's called GameTime Picks. It makes getting tickets for your teams play live even easier. It filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats. Don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. It is curation designed to make it easier to save even more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. The all-in pricing feature shows your total cost up front, so there's no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic view from your seat as well in the app before you buy. So what are you waiting for? Download the GameTime app. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account. Redeem code CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, for $20 off. Because what time is it? It's game time. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. But again, get that $20 off your first purchase when you use code ChatSports over at GameTime.co. Let's talk Mike Zimmer here. As many of you have asked about this, the idea of keeping Mike Zimmer as the Cowboys defensive coordinator in 2025. And I do want to start off positively here. Namely, this Cowboys defense has significantly gotten better compared to a really, really, really bad start. The defense in the first 9 weeks this season, these are some advanced metrics per RBSDM.com, which is runningbacks.matter.com, but they allow me to do more filters than others here. They were 30th in EPA per play in the first 9 weeks. They were 18th in success rate, 27th in pass EPA per play, 32nd in run EPA. Success rate was a little bit better, 10th in passing success rate, 29th in rushing success rate. When you see big differences there, it's normally big chunk plays and or a lack of takeaways that are leading to lower EPA compared to success rate. But however you really want to slice it, this was a bottom 5 defense in reality. And the points per game certainly matched that. And the points per game haven't gotten better over the past month, but the offensive turnovers and inefficiency have been a huge factor in that. The defense only, the last 4 weeks, they are now 10th in EPA per play. They're 12th in success rate. They're 4th in pass EPA per play, 11th in success rate. They are 31st in run EPA, which might make you freak out, but they are 13th in success rate. They've basically had a couple big chunk runs, one by Joe Mixon, and a couple quarterback scrambles that have been big chunk plays or design quarterback runs against them. Against running backs, they've gone from allowing some of the most yards per carry in the NFL to like league average. And that includes the Giant Joe Mixon. Take away the Giant Joe Mixon run last month, the Cowboys are allowing like 3.8 yards per carry to backs. They've gotten significantly better. And Micah Parsons knows that too. Here's what Micah said. We all see a difference, don't we? Film's not lying. Everybody's staying in their gaps. We're playing honest and true. That just goes so that we're starting to believe in each other, really buying into the program and understanding that we can be good. We'll come back to kind of some of what those quotes mean here. But over the past month, how would you grade this Dallas Cowboys defense? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. How do you feel so far about what this Cowboys defense has played as of late? I think there are a couple different reasons of varying impact why the defense looks so much better. Maybe the biggest of which that we should not overlook is the return of Micah Parsons, because he looks good. He is now up to 6.5 sacks, has been putting about a sack per game since his return from injury. His return, I think, has helped make Osa Odigizua look better. Mozzie Smith look better. Teams keying in on him, others stepping up around him. Mike has also bought in, which I do think matters, by the way. And number 2, I think the health of some of your other players. You've mostly been getting healthier. You got Marshawn Nealon back for a game. Micah return was the big one. DaRon Bland coming back at the same time. Diggs goes down, kind of probably saved your cornerback room from having a real bad disaster. You're, of course, banged up there again right now. But the health of those guys getting healthier and growth from young players. Marvin Overshown looks great. Mozzie Smith the past month has gone from a terrible defensive tackle to he's been borderline starting caliber the past month. Seriously. O's has taken a step forward. You're getting better play from Carl Lawson, who's not young, but he's still upping his game. Chauncey Golston, before he got hurt, you were getting real plays, real opportunities from Josh Butler. You've been able to find guys to kind of fill in the holes on your defense, and the young players have stepped up in the process. Also this kind of natural adjustment you've had to Mike Zimmer. There's always going to be, sometimes longer than we would prefer, an adjustment period to where, you know what, okay, we got to figure out how things work. The coaching staff's got to figure out how the players work best together. That's why oftentimes you see year 2 of a scheme is better than year 1, because there's more time to make adjustments. You learn the strengths and weaknesses, how to adjust. I think that's part of the natural new coaching staff hire, And you're seeing that play out now with the defensive side of the ball. Here's what Micah said, kind of acknowledging this part too. It was a learning period. Everyone's understanding a new defense. Zim is a lot more creative and demanding how they want people to play their gaps. It was always challenging a lot of the interior guys to play new ways, the corners to play new ways. I think at this point, everyone is comfortable. Everyone is locked in. I think at this point in the season, everyone is ready. So when it comes to this conversation about what you're going to do with Mike Zimmer, I am open to keeping him in 2025. This is not a I don't want him here no matter what argument. It is also not a I don't want him here no matter what. It is I want to see how things play out. I want my next head coach to decide. Whoever that ends up being, I want him to say, I want this guy as my DC. I want to keep this as who I am hiring. It is part of your interview process. You go, hey, who are you hiring as your defensive coordinator? Who do you want to hire? What's your list look like? If he says, actually, I just want to keep Zimmer. Seems like that was a pretty good thing. Cool, that's fine. If he goes, I want Robert Saleh, whatever. Okay, sure, that's fine. As long as not hiring Matt Patricia or something weird, which is part of your interview process to weed out bad head coach candidates, let them decide. I don't want to do this. I was forced by the owner crap. I don't want to do that anymore. I think it leads to some disjointedness in your staff. I think it's a power play by your ownership group. I don't want it anymore. If you don't like who they're hiring, don't hire him. I also, by the way, don't want Zimmer as head coach. I don't want to go down that path at all. It's not interesting to me. No, I'm not interested. I want somebody young and innovative. Zim could stay as my DC, but not as the head coach. So do you want to bring back Mike Zimmer? K for you want to keep him. L for you want to let him leave. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. One quick note before we go. The Cowboys apparently did not put in a waiver claim for released corner Emmanuel Forbes, the former first-round pick by Washington. Not this past draft, one before that was claimed by the Rams today. Now, I believe the Rams have a lower waiver priority based on the draft order, which means the Cowboys could have had Forbes if they wanted. They chose not to take on his borderline vet minimum deal this year and 2 years after that. Forbes has been a bust in Washington, but Dallas liked him coming out. Might have been a Dan Quinn liking more than anything else. Dan Quinn cut him in Washington, so Cowboys do not add the former first-round pick.